All right, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? We are talking all about, on today's Nerd Gym live stream, intermittent fasting, or IF, as the cool kids call it. Heck yeah. All right, so intermittent fasting has had a lot of press in the past couple of years. There are people who are major proponents of IF who are like, it is the thing, IF for the win. Let's pull back just a moment, talk a little bit about what is intermittent fasting, and then we're going to answer some questions all about it and discover if intermittent fasting is right for you and your fat loss goals. So we're going to be specifically talking about fat loss today as a reason to do intermittent fasting. That's why most people are interested in it. Is it faster? Is it more effective? Or is it dangerous? Can I actually go the wrong direction on an intermittent fasting protocol? Yes, you can. You can go the wrong direction, which is why we're doing a whole whatchamahoo's it on it right now. But first off, what the heck is intermittent fasting? It is fasting for a period of time. That's it. And there's all different kinds of intermittent fasting protocols, which sounds very high-tech and sciencey, and basically all that means is how long are you going to go without eating? So when you're sleeping, you're not eating, right? So one of the more popular ways to go about intermittent fasting is to do the 16-8. So you're eating for an 8-hour window in your 24-hour window of waking/sleeping hours, and you are fasting for 12. So this is going to be the most popular one that you see when you look up intermittent fasting, but there's also ones for doing like every other day fasting, which is a little more extreme. There's doing like twice a day or twice per day, smaller eating windows. All of these different things. There's the warrior diet. That's a cool sounding one, right? The warrior diet. Okay, that one is eating one big meal per day and then like nothing else really for the rest of the day. So first off, when you look up intermittent fasting, understand that you will find some really rabid fans of intermittent fasting, and people who are like, this is the shit, you must do this, you will lose so much weight. And it works really, really well for a small percentage of the population, and those are going to be the people who are going to be most vocal about it. This is not to discourage you from trying it, but I want you to be aware that you are going to have a different experience perhaps than somebody else who's done intermittent fasting. And I'm a big proponent of self-experimentation, but understanding why it works for some people and maybe not for others might give you the shortcut that you need today to decide whether or not to put your time, effort, and energy into trying a new nutrition protocol. Okay, so intermittent fasting will, the proponents of it will tell you all about the hormonal benefits, getting HGH, the human growth hormone going, and the glucagon and all this stuff. But all the benefits, first off, all of the benefits that they cite hormonally speaking from intermittent fasting can also be had from exercise. Yeah. So they can also be had from exercise. You don't have to do intermittent fasting to get these benefits. So what we're looking at for what we're actually doing to our body with the intermittent fasting, by shortening the window during which we are eating, we are likely, in most cases, reducing caloric intake. Reducing caloric intake is super important when it comes to weight loss in like 99% of cases. There is maybe like 95% of cases. I don't know. I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass right now. I will tell you that in most of the cases of people that I worked with, caloric deficit works pretty darn well. But there are going to be those people for whom a caloric deficit will actually make things worse. And we'll talk about whether you might be in that camp as well. If you've tried a bunch of diets that restrict calories and it seems like no matter what you try or how long you diet for, you just keep gaining and gaining and gaining. If that's you, don't worry, we'll get to that. But so intermittent fasting, there's no magic protocol, first off, whether you're doing every other day, whether you're doing like, I'm going to just, crunch it down to an 8-hour window or a 4-hour window or just one meal. No matter what protocol you use, the goal is reduction of calories. So if you are not reducing calories during your IF. We're calling it IF from now on. If you're not reducing calories during your IF, you will not lose weight while you're doing that. Okay, so that's super important. You do have to pay attention to a little bit of caloric intake. Now, like a lot of diets that don't require caloric intake, they work because you naturally reduce calories, but that's not true for everyone. I would say that for intermittent fasting specifically, one of the big downfalls for a lot of people, especially those who are opting for the skip breakfast, they say, oh, well, I skip breakfast anyway, so I'm just going to skip breakfast, skip lunch, and crunch it down. If you do that to yourself, you are not only missing the point in your day when you are the most insulin sensitive, which is the early part of your day, the morning part of your day, when you're going to put those calories to best use, especially your carbohydrate calories, but you're also potentially setting yourself up to really binge later in the day, and your body will naturally seek out the most calorically dense foods. If you're restricting the amount of time that you are using for your fast, you are going to naturally seek out the most calorically dense foods when you are able to eat, unless you're conscious and aware of the amount of calories you're supposed to be taking in. So it's just be aware. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to try intermittent fasting, be aware that you will have to reduce calories. Now, if you are an average person with average caloric needs, we're going to reduce by 300 to 500. If you're looking for a fat loss kind of a thing, and you reduce those calories by 300 to 500 of what you're currently doing, you're going to start seeing some fat loss results. And for some people, it's a lot easier to manage a 300 to 500 calorie deficit if we're only eating during a small period of time during our day. I totally get that. Many of y'all would rather have like a couple of large meals than smaller meals throughout the day. A big part of whether a nutrition plan is successful or not has to do with deprivation mindset, because deprivation mindset actually affects us on a hormonal level. There's a hormone called ghrelin that you will ghrelin, it's my favorite hormone because it sounds like growl or gremlin. Ghrelin is the thing that makes you feel hungry, and how you think about your food and whether or not you feel deprived will severely impact ghrelin, okay? It will absolutely impact your ghrelin levels. So we want to make sure that we are feeling sated, that we are feeling at peace with our intermittent fasting protocol, whatever it is we're doing, that we feel like, yes, I feel satisfied for at least part of my day, because if not, you're just going to have a miserable time, and life's too short to be miserable. I'm sorry. This is part of the reason why we have so many nutrition plans to choose from with the Nerd Gym, is guiding you to the right one that you can do for a long, sustainable period of time, because it's not one day of intermittent fasting that you do. If this ends up being the right thing for you, you're going to have to do it for a prolonged period of time in order for it to work. I will say that some of the most obese people I've worked with, people who struggle with their weight the most, who are trying to lose weight, your vanity is valid. If you want to be a bigger person, I have no problem with that. But for those people who are very large, who are trying to lose weight, it is not uncommon that they are already doing a 16-8 protocol with their eating. They do skip breakfast. They do wait till later on in their day to eat. And then when they do eat, because their body has been calorie starved for the first part of their day, the body naturally seeks out the most calorically dense foods. Then the calorie intake is too much, and the body can't do anything with it, so it just stores the excess as fat, because there's only so much you can metabolize at any one point. So if you are in that camp, if you say, gee, I already do skip breakfast, I already don't eat but one or two more, like really large meals per day, intermittent fasting is probably not the right thing for you to do right now. You should probably go the other direction and do the small meals throughout the day, which is where I recommend for most people that they start. Doing small meals throughout the day and taking advantage of hormonal balances throughout the day by doing your carbohydrates early in the day, fats later in the day. That's going to help you metabolize them better. That's going to help you sleep better, all that good stuff. That's the Power Up meal plan. For those of you listening who are already members of the Nerd Gym, that's Power Up meal plan that we're talking about, that has the meal timing built in to optimize your hormonal levels. But yes, so intermittent fasting is not the right solution if you are already crunching your calories down into one part of the day, and you're either gaining or maintaining a higher than desired body fat percentage for your goals right now. Another thing that you might consider is that whether or not your metabolism is very low. So for a person who has a low metabolism, I don't recommend intermittent fasting. So who might this be? If you get cold, even when it's hot out, you might have a low metabolism. If you have a low resting heart rate and you are not an athlete, you might have a low metabolism. That's a couple of different ways you can tell. If you have spent a big chunk of your life, like 5, 10, tens of years dieting, and being at a consistently low calorie level, you might be in the camp of people who need to first increase their caloric intake, chuck dieting out the window for a while, say, fuck it, I'm going to gain some weight for a little bit to reset my metabolism, and then go into a weight loss mode. This seems to particularly apply for older persons who are more on the female side of the gender spectrum. This seems to be a very typical place for these folks to be, either because of social pressures for constant dieting for people who identify as female, or just having to do with age and other hormonal things. I'm not really sure, but what I am sure of is that I've worked with enough of these people to know that if you are in that camp where you have been on a consistently low calorie diet for a number of years, and especially if you have that spare tire fat patterning around the middle, that stress fat patterning, definitely, if you are in this camp, do not do intermittent fasting, okay? That will not help you. It's going to plummet your metabolism even lower. For those people, I recommend going through a phase where you're going to have to just be okay with possibly plateauing or gaining a little bit of fat back on, where you do focus in on your recovery and eating you're gradually increasing the calories before cutting back down, getting the body used to metabolizing and using more calories. It's a whole process. If you need help with that process, please go ahead and join the Nerd Gym, www.thenerdgym.com. Join at any membership level and I can help you out with that. But so those people should not do intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting seems to work very, very well for people who have a higher metabolism, who already have a base of training, or who have a higher level of muscle mass. So if you are a person who you have already got a base level of training, maybe you've been doing a typical diet spread throughout the day for a good long while, and you need to bust up a plateau, intermittent fasting will likely bust up that plateau beautifully. Okay, having some more time for the glucagon to kick in. Glucagon, it's like the opposite to insulin. When the glucose is gone, you get glucagon. That's going to help you tap into your fat stores. That's typically going to kick in when you are on those low calorie intermittent fasting type things. Okay, so yes, if you are a person who is more on the male end of the gender spectrum, who has a base of training, and particularly who has not done a whole lot of over dieting that has maybe wrecked your metabolism, intermittent fasting is going to work like that. Okay, so young guys, especially muscly guys, or people who have like a base of muscle, are going to see really fast results with intermittent fasting, which is why the intermittent fasting thing has gotten so much momentum over the past couple years, because all it takes is some fit looking people to say, oh my gosh, this works amazing. You want to look like me? Do this dang thing. But what they've failed to recognize or mention, that most of the people who are looking for these solutions, who are looking to them, are not already athletes. Like if you're not already a trained athlete, and you have a lower metabolism, or you have a lot of work-related stress, that kind of stuff, or family-related stress, all of these things, intermittent fasting can make it worse, right? So especially, we talked briefly about people who have the cortisol fat patterning, the spare tires right around the middle. If you are chronically elevated stress level, like you're stressed all day long, and you're like, whether that's work related, environmental things can contribute to that. There's a whole lot of different things that can contribute to your stress level. But if you're in that camp where you're chronically elevated stress level all day long, adding an additional stress of not eating for a prolonged period of time is probably not the solution for you, because the whole reason why we as mammals have the ability to put the fat on is to survive periods of famine. So if we're already under stress and we're reinforcing, like, yes, this is a stressful time, by also doing intermittent fasting, that can make the problem worse rather than better. And it can also make that hormone ghrelin take over and really make us want to like binge the hell out of really calorically dense foods. And those of you who know and work with me know that I don't believe in willpower at all. Okay, willpower is BS. Willpower is something that gets thrown around like, oh, you just have to have enough willpower to do the diet thing. It's like, no, your whole existence as a human animal relies upon you eating whatever is in front of you, whatever is the most calorically dense, when you are hungry. You shouldn't have to willpower your way through that. Regardless of which meal plan you're using, you want to set yourself up for success ahead of time. So for some people that means doing the meal prep, right? For some people that means that intermittent fasting actually works really well, because if you have a set of rules and you just put the blinders on and say, I am not going to look about or think about food until my eating window is open, and if that works for you, that's great. But there's going to be a significant portion of you who, if you try to do that, you're just going to be obsessed with food all day long and feeling generally miserable and even more stressed, which will then in turn contribute to your ghrelin response, your hunger response, the additional fat gain around the belly, all these things. So is intermittent fasting right for you? If you have a base level of training, you have a relatively high metabolism, and you want to get rid of 15 to 20 pounds of fat, intermittent fasting is going to work like that for most of y'all, okay? If you have more fat to get through, if you have been dieting for a really prolonged period of time and you have a lower metabolism, or you're just getting started in your exercise and fitness journey, generally not going to recommend intermittent fasting. Not a fan. Have seen it work really well for people who are already in the fitness world, and seen it really push people to that next level. But I've seen it have the opposite of intended results for people who are have a lower metabolism, who are not super in the fitness world. So that is the main things that I wanted to answer about intermittent fasting for y'all in this live. Intermittent fasting, again, you will have some very vocal proponents of it. If you feel like it's the right solution for you, I do encourage you to try it. I do encourage people to be experimenting and trying what works for you, because here's the truth. Anyone who tells you that there's one perfect diet is full of crap, okay? Humans have survived on all different kinds of fasting protocols and all different kinds of not fasting protocols, and in all different types of environments. Some environments that are protein rich, some environments that are plant rich, some environments that are poor in one or more of these areas. So whether or not like a omnivore type diet, or a vegetarian diet, or a intermittent fasting, or a eating all day kind of a thing, grazing, works for you, I wish there was one solution that I could give you. I wish I could say, this is the one thing that you need to do, because I will tell you I would make a lot more money if I did that. But instead, I'm going to ask you to do the work, and I will help you. I will help you. If you're willing to do the work to find out the right balance for you and your body and what you need for yourself, if you're willing to put in that work, then I want to help you. All right. If you're just going to hop on the next bandwagon and keep messing up your body, best of luck, right? I hate to see people put themselves through that, though, because that usually leads to this downward spiral of self-loathing and BS, where we tell ourselves like, what's wrong with me? I can't do this, and I feel like crap, and blah, blah, blah. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. All right. The world is a crazy place. We have to find the right balance for us. It takes time. If you need guidance, if you want help finding the shortest path to your best nutrition plan. That's what I'm all about, and I do have a lot of materials on that. For those of you who are already members of the Nerd Gym, if you go into our Nerd Gym Secrets site, there's all kinds of information on different meal plans. If you need guidance to those meal plans, hit me up on any of our private live classes that we do. Private live classes are Monday through Saturday at the Nerd Gym. If you would like to become a member, I am doing full access for all membership levels right now because of the whole, like, everybody's still, the economy's still effed. We're, like, a lot of y'all are losing your jobs and that kind of stuff. So if you go to thenerdgym.com, you can sign up for any membership level. I think we've got a couple of our $3 like super, like I don't have any money right now, but I need the support memberships. But we also have $19, $44, $70. If you want to pay me what I'm worth, then you're looking at the $140 or over membership level. But I will be happy to help you out at whatever membership level you can afford, and that will give you full access to all of our programs, and as well as the private live classes where I do a little bit more one-on-one help with this stuff. But I'll also be doing these lives. Keep on doing these lives every day. Today I'm experimenting with doing a live on the Instagrams while I'm doing my live on Streamlabs, which goes to YouTube and Facebook. So whether you're watching on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, let me know. Go ahead, and I see a bunch of you. Go ahead and wave, shout out. Still getting the hang of the software here, guys. If I'm not responding to you, I swear I'm not ignoring you. I just don't know what the hell I'm doing with the softwares yet, but I want to get this information out. I want to help y'all while you're all struggling right now this year. There's a lot of stuff we cannot do as individuals, right? I can't put out forest fires. I can't make the air quality better right now. There's a lot of things I can't do as an individual. But what I can do, what I'm really good at, is helping people find the fat loss and the body composition goals that they want for themselves. So if you are a person who you say, you know what, I want to get fitter, I want to get leaner, I want to do that without hating my body and actually appreciating my body through that journey, that is what I can help with. So that's what I would like to do for you, is get you to your ideal body composition, whatever that looks like for you. Your vanity is valid, your goals are valid, whether you want to be a larger person, leaner person, it is up to you, but I will gladly help you with those goals, get you stronger, get you feeling amazing. The mind and the body are connected. The healthier your body is, the fitter your body is, the fitter your brain and your mind will be as well, regardless of health. Health and fitness, two different things, right? Fitness helps bolster the health, so you can be a fit person even if you have a chronic health condition. You can still work on your physical fitness, on your mental fitness, and feel better every single day, feel amazing. So keep at it, keep those questions coming, y'all. If you have questions about intermittent fasting that I did not answer in this live, please go ahead and drop them in the comments. Or if you have ideas of what you would like me to talk about in future upcoming lives, I am totally down. So leave them in the comments and I'll check those out once I'm done here. All right, have an awesome day. See you all later.